Sebastian Rivera is officially transferring from Northwestern to Rutgers. Now, the big question is which weight is he going, and how will that help the Rutgers lineup next year? Well, let's stop stalling and start talking wrestling. What's going on, wrestling fans? My name's Josiah, and welcome to another Big Ten Tuesday topic. This week, discussing the Rutgers lineups and three potential lineups that could happen with Sebastian Rivera next year. Now, Sebastian Rivera, we weren't sure whether he's going 33 or 41, but he has since confirmed that he is wrestling 141 pounds for Rutgers. He made the decision to transfer after he graduated from Northwestern and felt that this was the best decision for him. I don't necessarily know that that was a huge surprise, but it was a little bit surprising to find out on the beta show on Flow Wrestling that he is officially wrestling 141 pounds. So he is bumping up from not only 25 to 33 last year, but now 33 to 41 this year. This kid just keeps on growing and growing and growing, and it'll be exciting to see how he's going to do next year. We've seen success with guys like that. Let's look at Luke Pletcher last year, who bumped up from 33 to 41, not really cutting a lot of weight. We could see the same results from Sebastian Rivera. Now we move on to this first lineup, and I have a couple of different lineup titles, just, looking at these three lineups. The first one I have here is the old blood lineup, and this is essentially Rutgers lineup last year with Sebastian Rivera in it. So how would that look? With Nick Aguilar at 25, who is a ranked wrestler, and Sammy Alvarez at 133, that's when we throw in Sebastian Rivera. And the question here is going to be, how is Sebastian Rivera going to be ranked going into next season? Well, he's likely not going to be ranked above Yanni Diakmahalis or Jaden Ironman or Nick Lee. No, Sebastian Rivera was the number one ranked guy at 133, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate him to be number one at 41. He hasn't beaten any of those guys, and he's not going to really get a lot of street credit until he beats a couple of these big guys at 41. I think it's possible, but it's just how the rankings work. Now, as you get a little bit further down with Ian Parker and Chad Redd, he may be able to make the notion that he could be ranked above him. So I would likely put Sebastian Rivera at that number 4 spot for the 141 pounders, and that's where I think he's likely going to end up. Now, as we look down this lineup here, we have Gerard Angelo continuing on at 49, who was 15-12 last year, injured at the Big Ten tournament. Mike Van Brill at 57. Brett Donner, who was 18-17 last year, going to be a senior this year, unfortunately didn't qualify for nationals, so that's a spot that's kind of up in the air right now at 65. Joe Grello at 174, and then Billy Janser at 184. Janser was 21-10 last year. Now, he had a solid season. He was pinned, although he was pinned by Aaron Brooks, which was arguably one of his worst matches, unfortunate for him, but he did have a win over Jelani Embry of Michigan, as well as over Cam Caffey of Michigan State. So he's got potential, and that's why he's ranked number 16 at 184. Then we move up, we have Kyle Epperly filling in for Pagano, who graduated last year at 97, and then finishing the lineup off with Christian Colucci. Now, this is a lineup that I think is a very solid lineup, but I think there are adjustments that are going to be made, and I don't think that that's going to be the lineup at all. It's just one I wanted to throw out there, just looking at where they were last year and who is coming in this year. Now, as we look onto this new blood lineup, this is the second lineup here that could happen. Again, Sebastian Rivera still stays at 141. We have Nick Aguilar at 25, 33, Sammy Alvarez. And I don't have Soriano here yet. I will get to that lineup in just a second. But I wanted to talk, we don't know exactly what's going to happen with Nick Soriano. Is he going to come back? Is he going to stay at 33? What's going to happen with him? But as we move on to 41, Rivera. And then, I didn't mention before, but the guy who's going to be kind of kicked out of this lineup here is going to be Jojo Aragona. Aragona wrestled 41 for Rutgers last year, had a solid season, 13-12 overall. Some good wins, some not great losses, but overall a solid season in his freshman year. And then a lot of the rest stays the same. The big difference here too is 65 with Robert Kennard, who's out of New Jersey, who had a great redshirt freshman year. He was 16-6 overall. Not a lot of crazy wins, not crazy great wins over ranked guys, but still a solid redshirt year. And I think that's where we could see him starting at 165 over a Brett Donner. As we move down, another big discrepancy here, difference here is John Poznanski versus against Billy Janser. Now, what could happen here? Why do I have Poznanski at 84, Janser bumping up to 197? I think it's important to note that for the team aspect, this could be super, super important. Now, Janser, I already said, has those solid wins at 84, but if we see him bump up to 97, he's a big guy. I think we could see him do well there. But as far as Poznanski, what's his deal? Who is he? He is a state champion out of New Jersey. I believe he's out of New Jersey. He was a Beast of the East champion, a top 20 recruit overall in his class, and a Super 32 finalist. So a very, very solid wrestler. Will be a true freshman next year. So, like, that's going to be a big start. Now, a couple other teams likely are to redshirt a guy like that, but I think coming into next year, he is a guy, we've seen these true freshmen start for Rutgers, and that doesn't always happen with Big Ten teams, but I think he's a guy who could start at 84, and we could see some big moves from Rutgers, and I think it's very important. Now, as we get on to the third lineup, which I'm dubbing the Dream lineup, we're going to talk a little bit about Nick Suriano, where he fits in the lineup, but first, I want to talk to you about Be Superior Wrestling, a wrestling streetwear brand that brings you comfort and style. Now, I've been wearing the Be Superior headband right here because it is so comfortable, but I've also been wearing around the crossface tee and the windbreaker jacket from Be Superior. It's super comfortable, great to wear in the street or while working out. Now, you can check them out on BeSuperiorWrestling.com. I also have it linked up down in the description. And that brings us to the third topic, the third dream lineup that I'm dubbing this Rutgers lineup. So a lot of this stuff stays the same from the New Blood lineup, but this is where we see Nick Suriano finally in the lineup. Now, Suriano at 33 would be huge. I think everybody wants to see what happens here just because 33 is such a packed weight overall, and just throwing another guy into this lineup just makes it that much more exciting. And he is technically the reigning national champion at 133, and you know, having a national champion come back to your lineup would be huge. We don't know if he's going to take another Olympic redshirt year, if he's going to continue wrestling. These are all rumors going around, but I really hope that he does come back. Now we move on to 149, and this is where, you know, the last lineup I had Ryan Vulok in, who was out with injury last year with a Pennsylvania State champion and an Ironman and Powerade champion. So this is where I really struggled whether to put Vulok in or Jojo Aragona. Here I have Jojo Aragona just because he's able to get some strong victories. You know, although he's getting bonus by Nick Lee and Luke Pletcher at 141, he had some close matches with Chad Red and Kyle Shoup out of Lehigh. Now, the thing here is, I think this is just so difficult to tell. We could see Aragona bump up, or we could see him take that redshirt year, as with the previous lineup. With Vulok, I think he's a guy who's more suited to 149, so maybe he does get that spot at 149, but I think that's really the argument here, is who's going to be the better starter at 149 pounds. Now, as we move up, we get to, you know, a lot of the similar things. With Kennard, I think he is the best option here at 65. Then Poznanski and Billy Janser, I already explained why I think they're going to be huge fits for the lineup. And I think with that lineup, you're going to see some great success for Rutgers. And please, if you're interested in another Big Ten topic, check this link out right here. It'll take you to a full playlist of all the Big Ten topics that I've discussed, and you're not going to want to miss out on any of those great topics. So stop stalling and get on watching.